Hello, welcome to Tumaritis village. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the bell.
One day in the peaceful village of Tumaritis, Petruk was washing his motorcycle while singing. He complained that his bike was dirty because of the rainy season, which had made the village roads muddy. Not long after, Garing, his older brother, appeared and stopped in front of Petruk's house. Garing greeted him and invited him to have breakfast at Mrs. Nori's food stall. Petruk happily agreed, since he hadn't eaten that morning, and especially because someone else was treating him, meaning he wouldn't have to spend a single penny. On their way to the stall, they chatted. Petruk asked Garing,
"How's your health?"
Garing replied,
"Thanks to God, I'm doing fine now, and can get back to my activities, Truk."
Then Garing asked,
"Your motorcycle is all fixed now, right, Truk?"
Petruk answered,
"Yes, it's all good now, Reng. But yesterday when Bagong and I went to the city by bus to pick up the bike, suddenly the bus turned into a ghost. It was terrifying. The bus grew legs from its tires, eyes, and a mouth on its front, and then stood up, transforming into a giant monster."
Garing exclaimed.
"That's really scary, but you survived because of our father, right? How?"
Petruk explained.
"Our father had just bought a cell phone yesterday, so I immediately called him. He came right away to save us. That's the story, Reng."
Garing sighed in relief.
"Good thing. Come on, Truk, let's hurry to Mrs. Nori's stall before it's too late and the food runs out."
Petruk laughed.
"Ha! If we're too late, we won't get breakfast at all. Let's go."
As they neared Mrs. Nori's stall, they saw a group of people carrying a corpse on a bier. They wondered who had died that morning, but decided to ask about it later at the stall. From a distance, the food stall was already visible, with 3 customers eating there. Worried the food would run out, they quickened their pace. Petruk asked,
"What if the food's already finished, Reng?"
Garing replied,
"Then we'll just count it as exercise, Truk."
When they arrived, Garing asked Mrs. Nori,
"Ma'am, do you still have rice and side dishes left?"
Mrs. Nori smiled. "Yes, Reng." Garing said,
"Then 2 portions, please. And don't forget 2 cups of black coffee while we wait."
Mrs. Nori nodded and went to the back to prepare their order. Meanwhile, Petruk struck up a conversation with 2 men already in the stall and asked who had died that morning. One of them explained that it was a shaman who often accepted orders to kill people with black magic. His death was horrifying. His head had been separated from his body. According to villagers' rumors, the shaman's spell backfired when it failed to kill its intended target. Suddenly, a loud clap of thunder struck, signaling heavy rain was about to fall. At that moment, Garing froze, and a vision revealed he had once visited the shaman himself. In that vision, Garing had asked the shaman to make the woman he loved accept him. The shaman agreed, on the condition that Garing fulfill certain requirements. Garing had accepted. Back in reality, Petruk snapped Garing out of his daze.
"Why are you spacing out, Reng? Did you ever use that shaman's services?"
Garing stammered.
"No, Truk. Don't be ridiculous."
He tried to deny it, but Petruk found his reaction suspicious. Garing quickly covered, saying he was just worried about how they would get home in the rain. Petruk teased him.
"Rain has nothing to do with staring off into space. You're hiding something."
Garing deflected.
"Forget it. Let's just go home using banana leaves as umbrellas."
Petruk agreed, and they asked Mrs. Nori for some leaves. She went out back. Before going home, Garing reminded Petruk not to forget their night guard duty at the watch post. Petruk asked who would be on duty with them. Garing said,
If I'm not mistaken, our younger brother Bagong and Doim.
Coincidentally, Doim was one of the men in the stall. Petruk asked him, and Doim laughed. That's right, my friends. Meanwhile, Mrs. Nori was seen trimming the leaves that Petruk and Garing had asked for to be used as umbrellas during the rain. Mrs. Nori only took 2 leaves, thinking that perhaps her customers wouldn't need them yet, as the rain might have stopped by the time they headed home. She handed the leaves to Garing and Petruk. They then said goodbye while asking for the total price they needed to pay. Garing gave Mrs. Nori the money, saying,
Here's the money, man. If there's any change, just keep it, okay?
Mrs. Nori retorted, What do you mean? Your money is the exact amount. There's no change. Garing and Petruk laughed, then left. On the way back, Garing reminded Doim not to be late for guard duty. Doim shouted back, Got it! Meanwhile, Petruk walked with deep disappointment, because his recently washed motorcycle would surely get dirty again, and he wouldn't be able to earn money with it. Garing then advised him that rain is a gift from God, and that with rain, the earth will come back to life. As for the motorcycle taxi, he could still do that by bringing a raincoat. Petruk agreed. The night passed, and the neighborhood watchpost could be seen from a distance, still empty, though the rain had already started to subside. That night, only Bagong and Doim arrived at the watchpost at first. They were annoyed, since Garing had told them not to be late. Eventually, Petruk and Garing showed up, explaining they were delayed. Petruk had passengers to drop off far away, and Garing had been asked by their father Samar to deliver goods. They reconciled and began their night patrol. While walking around the village, they used flashlights to check dark spots, fearing a thief might be hiding there. Meanwhile, Bagong asked about the flashlight Doim hadn't brought, and Doim replied that his flashlight was broken and couldn't be used. Since the area was safe, they continued their journey. They arrived at a resident's garden, and Petruk's flashlight began illuminating the surroundings. After a long time spent shining light on the dark and now deemed safe areas, they continued on their patrol. While patrolling with flashlights, they reached the village graveyard. Petruk noticed a fresh grave and wondered aloud,
Could this be the shaman's grave from this morning?
Suddenly, the grave began to move. Terrified, they watched as a figure dressed in black emerged. Petruk and Garing recognized it as the very same shaman, now a headless corpse. Bagong and Doim fled in fear, leaving Petruk and Garing to face it. Petruk cursed them for running, but Garing urged him to escape too. They ran together as the corpse wandered through the village. Meanwhile, the headless corpse walked away from its grave and started moving along the road in Tumaritis village. Bagong finally arrived at his own house. Doim, whose house was quite far away, said goodbye to Bagong and decided he would report the matter to the hamlet chief the following day. They parted ways there that night. Inside Bagong's house, in his bedroom, Bagong hurried to sleep, covering his entire body with a blanket out of fear. Meanwhile, the headless corpse began to appear and walk around the village. Inside his room, Bagoong, who was wrapped in his blanket, looked like he was holding back a stomachache because he needed to defecate. Reluctantly, Bagoong got up and headed to the toilet to relieve himself. Outside, Petruk was seen walking backward and alone, because Garing had also left him. Meanwhile, a white figure was also visible right behind Petruk. The two of them were seen walking backward, stealthily creeping until their bodies touched. Mistaking him for a ghost, Petruk screamed, then scolded Bagong for scaring him. Bagong admitted he had gone outside because he desperately needed the toilet. Petruk reluctantly agreed to accompany him. At the banana grove, they suddenly saw the headless corpse emerge from behind the trees. Bagong bolted immediately, leaving Petruk behind. Furious, Petruk chased after him, shouting,
"Weren't you going to the toilet, Gong?"
Bagong yelled back, "Not anymore, Truk!" The headless corpse chased them. Until suddenly, Samar appeared and kicked it to the ground. The others regrouped, relieved. Bagong looked behind him and saw that the corpse was no longer chasing them. Bagong then told Petruk to stop running, because the corpse was not chasing them anymore. Instead, it had been sent flying after being kicked by Samar. They began to wonder what was happening. Meanwhile, Garing approached Petruk and Bagong from the front and explained that he was the one who had reported the situation to Samar. Finally, they were relieved to be safe from the terror of the headless corpse and watched the fight between the two of them. Samar confronted the headless shaman. "Return to your grave now, or I will destroy you." But the corpse stood silent. Only then did Samar realize it couldn't speak. It had no head. With determination, Samar launched his attack. The battle was fierce, but Samar overpowered the shaman. Both men unleashed their signature moves, but the shaman who carried a staff could do nothing, because Samar took control of his staff. Samar then chanted an incantation and struck the shaman down, then retaliated with a flurry of fatal attacks. He finally plunged the shaman's staff into his neck. The shaman groaned in pain, crawled towards Samar, and collapsed onto the ground, at which point fire erupted from inside his body. The shaman's entire body was burned to ashes. Samar and his sons were now relieved that Tumaritis village was free from the terror of the headless corpse.